Right along Greenmont Avenue in Waverly is Urban Reed's bookstore.
No problem.
Tia Hamilton opened up the spot as a safe haven and a place of empowerment.
September 2019, I signed the lease. December 2019, we opened.
The longtime community and social justice activist says she's gotten threats before related to her magazine, Urban Reality State vs. Us, a platform dedicated to success stories of those who were incarcerated.
And I wanted to be the voice for them.
But Hamilton says the messages got worse in February and went beyond her inbox and into her bookstore.
But this time is different. It's like they had a Klan rally just for me.
What's good, family? Welcome back to the Grassroots, where we dig into the real and the unfiltered truth. Today, we're talking about a sister out here fighting the good fight and catching hell for it. Tia Hamilton, a black queen from Baltimore, who is the owner of Urban Reads Bookstore, a spot that's more than just books. It's a liberation hub. But guess what? The minute you start uplifting black folks and exposing the system, the wolves come howling. Racial harassment, online intimidation, threats. Y'all know the playbook. So let's break it down and unpack the madness. And salute a soldier who ain't backing down. Hit that subscribe button, fam. Let's get into it. Tia Hamilton ain't new to this. She's true to this. Back in 2019, she launched Urban Reads Bookstore in Baltimore's Waverly neighborhood. Why? Because she needed a spot to push her magazine, State vs. US. And let me tell you, this ain't your grandma's Reader's Digest. State vs. US is a straight-up Molotov cocktail of truth, shining a spotlight on mass incarceration, systemic racism, and the stories of folks wrongfully locked up by this crooked-ass system. Tia said, "I'm not just selling books. I'm here to uplift and liberate the black community." And you know what happens when a black woman starts speaking that kind of power, right? Tia has been hit with a wave of
Right along Greenmont Avenue in Waverly is Urban Reed's bookstore.
No problem.
Tia Hamilton opened up the spot as a safe haven and a place of empowerment.
September 2019, I signed the lease. December 2019, we opened.
The longtime community and social justice activist says she's gotten threats before related to her magazine, Urban Reality State vs. Us, a platform dedicated to success stories of those who were incarcerated.
And I wanted to be the voice for them.
But Hamilton says the messages got worse in February and went beyond her inbox and into her bookstore.
But this time is different. It's like they had a Klan rally just for me.
What's good, family? Welcome back to the Grassroots, where we dig into the real and the unfiltered truth. Today, we're talking about a sister out here fighting the good fight and catching hell for it. Tia Hamilton, a black queen from Baltimore, who is the owner of Urban Reads Bookstore, a spot that's more than just books. It's a liberation hub. But guess what? The minute you start uplifting black folks and exposing the system, the wolves come howling. Racial harassment, online intimidation, threats. Y'all know the playbook. So let's break it down and unpack the madness. And salute a soldier who ain't backing down. Hit that subscribe button, fam. Let's get into it. Tia Hamilton ain't new to this. She's true to this. Back in 2019, she launched Urban Reads Bookstore in Baltimore's Waverly neighborhood. Why? Because she needed a spot to push her magazine, State vs. US. And let me tell you, this ain't your grandma's Reader's Digest. State vs. US is a straight-up Molotov cocktail of truth, shining a spotlight on mass incarceration, systemic racism, and the stories of folks wrongfully locked up by this crooked-ass system. Tia said, "I'm not just selling books. I'm here to uplift and liberate the black community." And you know what happens when a black woman starts speaking that kind of power, right? Tia has been hit with a wave of racial harassment, like online DMS, emails, even phone calls to her store. They're sending her nooses, y'all nooses. In 2025, somebody out there is still mad slavery ended. She told the interviewer, "All of this is because of my magazine." See, when you start exposing prison corruption, police dirt, and government grime, the roaches scatter and they don't like the light. Tia's out here giving a voice to the voiceless. And these cowards from Little Rock to Louisiana are shook. One of them even threatened to roll up on her store. You believe that? Faceless keyboard Klansmen trying to intimidate a black woman who's built something real. This right here, this is the weapon they're scared of. State versus US ain't just paper and ink. It's a middle finger to the prison industrial complex. Tia's highlighting wrongful convictions, lifting up the formerly incarcerated, and showing the world how this system chews up black lives and spits them out. And Urban Reads, that's the headquarters. She's promoting literacy in a city they've been trying to keep illiterate, the so-called city that reads. where the system would rather see us locked up than locked in with a book. That's revolutionary, fam. That's why they're mad. But here's the flip side. The community's got her back. Baltimore showed up. The Tendia family, led by Elijah Miles, sent brothers to guard the store. Councilwoman Odette Ramos called it a hate crime and kicked it to the authorities. Even Mayor Brandon Scott's crew got involved. Tia told CBS News she's barely eating, barely sleeping, and she's angry having to fight a faceless enemy. But she ain't folding. Orders at the store are up. The people are riding for her. That's Black Power in action. When they try to knock us down, we build higher. Now, let's keep it a buck. Some of y'all watching might be thinking, well, maybe she's stirring the pot too much. Nah, kinfolk, miss me with that coonery. Tia's catching heat because she's doing what we've been begging for, fighting the system and not kissing its ass. And to the clowns sending threats, y'all mad at a bookstore. What's next? You gonna burn down the library because they got a Black History Month display? Pathetic. Meanwhile, Tia's still sending books to the incarcerated, still pushing kids to read, still standing tall. That's a warrior. This ain't just about Tia. It's about us. Every time a Black person builds something, they try to tear it down. Urban Reads is a symbol. Family, it's a fortress of knowledge in a war zone of ignorance. Mass incarcerations got us in a chokehold. Black men 4 times more likely to be locked up than white men. Black women 1.6 times more than white women, according to the Sentencing Project. Her magazine peels back the curtain, and that's why they're shook. They don't want us woke, they want us broke. But we ain't going back. So what's the move? Support Urban Reads and buy a book. Grab a copy of State vs. US and slide through if you're in Baltimore. Let's show Tia she ain't alone in this fight. And to the haters, keep hiding behind your screens, because the minute you step into the light, you're done. We protect our own round here. Period. This is the grassroots, y'all. We plant seeds and pull weeds. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Should Tia keep pushing or not? Nah. Trick question, she ain't stopping. Peace out, family. Stay real, stay woke.
I bet you not with these.
I will put you in the back of my car. Go over there. Turn around.
What are you doing, man?
A controversial arrest by a Riverside County deputy. Now the county is paying out nearly $500,000.
The Riverside County Sheriff's Office is facing a string of lawsuits over deaths in their jails. One recently settled for $7.5 million, and lawsuits claiming unreasonable use of force. The most recent cost taxpayers $500,000 and a deputy his job.
Peace, family. Welcome back to the grassroots, where we cut through the noise, peel back the lies, and get to the root of what's really going down. Today, we're diving into a story straight out of Southern California that's got everything. Police overreach, racial profiling, and a fat settlement that's got the system squirming. Buckle up, because we're about to break it all down. This is the story of Gregory Whaling, a Black man who dared to stand his ground, and a trigger-happy deputy named Robert Glazer, who thought he could flex his badge and get away with it. Spoiler alert, he didn't. Whaling walked away with $498,000. As for Glazer, he's out of a job. But here's the kicker. Glazer's attorney had the nerve to say this whole thing blew up because Whaling's Black. Yeah, you heard that right. Let's unpack this mess. September 14th, 2022, Temecula, California. Riverside County Sheriff's Deputy Robert Glazer rolls up to a senior living complex after some residents call in about a so-called belligerent man. Turns out, this dude, let's call him Shirtless Ed, was a white guy who didn't even live there, just crashing with a friend. He's out there, no shirt, stirring up trouble, and the residents ain't happy. Enter Gregory Whaling, a Black resident who's just trying to walk his dog with his partner, minding his own damn business. Now Shirtless Ed decides to point the finger at Whaling, claiming he's the one harassing him, you know. The classic blame the Black guy move. Whaling, who's got 2 replaced knees and walks with a cane, ain't about to let this slide. He speaks up, says, nah, bro, you don't even live here. And that's when Deputy Glazer turns his sights on Whaling. Check this out. Glazer's over there barking orders like he's auditioning for RoboCop. Go over there, or you're going in the back of my car. Whaling, cool as ever, pulls up his shorts to show his scars and hits him with, I bet you won't. Not with these. Man, that's that Black defiance we know and love. Whaling's out here like you ain't about to punk me, fam. But Glazer, oh, he took it personal. Next thing you know, There's deputies rushing, wailing, threatening to tase him, and wrestling him to the ground. Wailing's yelling, "I can't even walk, man. My knees are messed up." And Glazer's still out here trying to cuff him like he's taking down a damn supervillain. 11 hours later in jail, Wailing's charged with interfering with an investigation. Meanwhile, shirtless Ed, untouched. You see the pattern here? Fast forward to 2025. Wailing files a federal lawsuit for unreasonable seizure, excessive force, false arrests, the works. Riverside County's like, "We ain't trying to see this in court," and cuts him a check for $498,000. As for Glazer, he was fired after 14 years on the force. The sheriff's department says it's cause of misconduct, including unnecessary force. Case closed, right? Not so fast. Here comes Glazer's lawyer, Michael Williamson, with the wildest take yet. This cat Williamson steps up and says, "This was a big nothing. Wailing got paid because he's black and had a cane. It wasn't even a beatdown. His mouth got him in trouble." Oh word. So let me get this straight. A black man with a disability gets tackled by a cop, spends half a day in jail for nothing, and it's his fault because he talked back. That's the narrative they're spinning. Nah, fam, we ain't letting that fly. The media's eating this up. CBS says Wailing dared the deputy. The Orange County Register calls it much about nothing. But check the body cam, Wailing is walking away. When Glazer goes after him, this ain't about interference. This is about a cop who couldn't handle being challenged. And let's talk about shirtless Ed for a second. Why did he get a pass while Wailing's on the ground? Oh, I know, because the system's built to protect one and punish the other. Here's where it gets deep, fam. Williamson's out here saying Wailing's race elevated the reaction. Translation, if Wailing was white, this wouldn't have been a $500,000 problem. And you know what? He's probably right, but not for the reasons he thinks. If Wailing was white, Glazer might have laughed it off, maybe even let him slide. But a black man with a cane talking back, that's a threat to the whole power structure. They can't let that slide. This ain't just about Wailing or Glazer. This is about how the system operates. See, they want us to believe this is an isolated incident, like it's just one bad cop. But nah, this is the playbook. Profile the black guy, escalate the situation, then cry foul when we fight back. Wailing's lawyer, Jerry Steering, even said it. "I've seen worse from Riverside deputies. Worse. So what's that tell you? This ain't the exception, it's the rule." And let's flip the script for a minute. Imagine shirtless Ed was black and Wailing was white. You think Glazer's tackling the white resident with a cane? Hell no. Ed would have been in cuffs faster than you can say probable cause. But whiteness gets you a conversation. Blackness gets you a chokehold. That's the game. So, $498,000. Is that justice? Or is it hush money to keep the lid on a bigger scandal? Wailing's free, Glazer's gone. But the Riverside Sheriff's Department ain't changing. They're just hoping we forget. But we don't forget here at the Grassroots. We remember, and we demand answers. Why did it take a lawsuit for accountability? Why is Glazer's lawyer playing the race card like it's Wailing's fault he got paid? And why is the system still letting deputies run wild until the checks start clearing? Gregory Wailing stood up. He said, "I bet you won't." And when they did, he made them pay literally. That's power, fam. That's what happens when you don't back down. But this ain't over. Every day, there's another Wailing out there, another Glazer waiting to flex. So what are we gonna do? Keep watching, keep fighting, keep exposing the truth. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What you think about this settlement. Was it enough? Should Glazer be in jail, not just fired? Hit that like button if you're tired of the same old script. Subscribe if you're ready to dig deeper with us. This is the Grassroots, where the people's voice don't get silenced. We out.
Now, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser saying that the name of Black Lives Matter Plaza will be changed amid growing pressure from Republicans. The mayor making that announcement just moments ago, saying, quote, "The mural inspired millions of people and helped our city through a very painful period. But now we can't afford to be distracted by meaningless congressional interference. There have been efforts in Congress to force the district to change Black Lives Matter Plaza or lose federal funding."
What's good, fam? Welcome back to the Grassroots, where we keep it real, raw, and unfiltered. Oh, we got a problem, family. A big one. Washington, D.C., the so-called heart of this nation, just pulled a move so foul it's got my blood boiling. They're removing the Black Lives Matter Plaza. Yeah, You heard me right. Erasing it. That bold yellow paint on the street, that symbol of justice, that scream in the face of oppression, gone. Wiped out. And they're acting like it's no big deal. Nah, fam, this ain't sitting right with me. And it shouldn't sit right with you either. Now, let's break this down. Black Lives Matter Plaza wasn't just some trendy art project. It was a battle cry. A middle finger to the system that's been choking us out for centuries. Millions of us marched, bled, and cried for that message to be seen, heard, and felt. And what does DC do? They caved. They bow down to pressure, probably from some suits who clutch pearls every time they see black folks demanding what's ours. History, they don't want it. Truth, they can't handle it. So they scrub it clean like it never happened. Here's the kicker though. Check this out. The mayor, Muriel Bowser, a black woman, and the artist who painted it, another black woman. They're cool with this. They're out here saying, oh, we get it. It's time to move on. Move on. Move on. Nah, fam. We ain't all sipping that Kool-Aid. I respect their hustle, but this ain't about them. It's about us. The people, the ones who saw that plaza and felt hope. The ones who knew it wasn't just paint, it was power. Now, I know some of y'all out there don't rock with the Black Lives Matter organization. Cool, I get it. There are plenty of critiques to go around. But this ain't about the group. This is about the message. Black Lives Matter. Period. Erasing that from the streets of DC. That's a slap in the face to every black American who's ever had to fight to be seen. It's the system saying, we'll let you scream for a minute, but don't get too comfortable. Well, guess what? We ain't here to be comfortable. We're here to be counted. So what do, fam? We keep pushing. We don't let them bury our history under fresh asphalt and call it progress. We demand our symbols, our voices, our truth. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and let's get loud about this. The grassroots ain't going out quiet, and neither should you. Until next time, stay woke, stay strong, and keep fighting. Peace.
That story is never going to be washed away. It will forever be with us.
A poignant moment for Kiana Jones as she looks at her work at Black Lives Matter Plaza.
It's bittersweet, right?
She painted the 2-block stretch on 16th Street Northwest in June 2020. The space was created after the death of George Floyd as a place for both protests and healing.
That's what art is about. It's about creating. It's about having hard conversations, and you can create again. So it's never gone forever.
In a statement on Tuesday, DC Mayor Muriel Bowser said the district will paint over the mural that stands 1 block from the White House. Today, she explained why.
We have bigger fish to fry than fights over what has been very important to us and to their history, and especially in our ability to keep our city safe during that time. That mural played a very important part.
Kiana, who is a Southeast DC native, understands the mayor's decision.
People have been losing jobs. There have been budget cuts. There's been a lot that's been going on. And to have to fight for this and potentially lose a lot of funding that we definitely need right now, I understand that we have to make a choice, and sometimes art may not be it.
So at this moment, Kiana is choosing to reflect on the impact that her work made.
It speaks for itself. People travel the world to see this,
including civil rights leader and former Georgia Congressman John Lewis, who made his last public appearance at Black Lives Matter Plaza in June 2020 before he died 1 month later.
It's a moment in history that can't be erased. I'm so honored and grateful to be a part.
She says while her work may be washed away physically, it will always be a part of her spirit that she leaves in her hometown.
Yeah, it can't be washed out. Exactly. Can't wash me out, baby.
As for what the new name will be, part of Georgia Congressman Andrew Clyde's bill calls for the new name to be Liberty Plaza. When asked about it today, Mayor Bowser simply said she does not support the congressman's bill.
Peace, family. Welcome back to the Grassroots, where we keep it 100. No filters, no apologies. Today we're diving deep into some real ish, some ugly, nasty, in-your-face truth about what's happening online, especially on that bird app now called X. You know the one Elon Musk turned into a damn playground for white supremacists. Yeah, we're going there today, because somebody's got to say it. Buckle up, because this ain't gonna be polite. Online bullying ain't new. We've been dealing with trolls since the dial-up days. But what's happening on X right now is next level. It's open season on black folks, and the so-called free speech king, Elon Musk, is holding the door wide open for every basement dwelling. Confederate flag waving keyboard warrior to spew their venom. And don't get it twisted, this ain't just words. This is psychological warfare, and it's hitting black Americans where it hurts. Let's break this down. X used to be Twitter, right? Back in the day, they had some rules, basic stuff. Call somebody the N-word, you might get a timeout. Post some KKK propaganda, they'd snatch your account. Was it perfect? Nah, but at least there was a line. Then here comes Elon, Mr. I'm gonna save free speech, riding in on his Tesla horse like some sci-fi cowboy. And what's he do? He fires half the moderation team, rolls back the hate speech policies, and basically says, y'all do you. And who's been doing the most ever since? White supremacists. That's who. Check the receipts, fam. Studies out here, like from the Anti-Defamation League and the Center for Countering Digital Hate, show that since Elon took over, racial slurs, Nazi symbols, and anti-black rhetoric have shot through the roof. I'm talking a 200% increase in some cases. 200%. And X ain't doing jack about it. They're letting these clowns run wild, posting memes about replacement theory calling us animals, and dragging our history through the mud, all while Elon's over there tweeting about colonizing Mars like he's too busy to notice the cesspool he's created. Now, let's talk about how this hits us, black Americans. You got folks on X with 50 followers acting like they're the grand wizard of the internet, targeting black creators, black activists, even regular black folks just trying to live. They're in the replies. They're quote tweeting. They're dropping doctored pics and lies, straight up cyber lynching. And for what? Because we're here. Because we're breathing. Because we're winning. And these cowards can't stand it. Peep this. Sis out here trying to promote her hustle. Black excellence in full effect. And this clown rolls up with the N-word. Some gibberish about welfare queens and a picture of a noose. A noose, y'all. And guess what? That account's still up. I checked this morning, March 6th, 2025, and it's still posting. Why? Because Elon's free speech means free reign for hate. But if I go on there and call out this fool for what he is, oh, I'm the one getting flagged. Funny how that works, right? This ain't just annoying, it's dangerous. Black folks are already dealing with systemic racism in the real world, with cops profiling us, banks denying us loans, schools failing our kids. Now we gotta log online and dodge digital backshots from these inbred incels. It's exhausting, fam. Studies show this kind of online hate messes with your mental health, with things like depression, anxiety, PTSD, and for our youth, the ones growing up on these apps, it's planting seeds of self-hate before they even know who they are. That's the game plan. Break us down so we stop rising up. Look at this sister. She's 15, y'all. 15, just trying to vibe, post her art, and these parasites swarm her with filth. And X's response? Crickets. Elon's too busy liking tweets from alt-right weirdos to care. So what's the play here? Why is Elon letting this slide? Follow the money and the motive. X is a business, right? Engagement drives revenue. And nothing gets clicks like outrage. These white supremacists stir the pot. Black folks clap back, and the algorithm eats it up. More views, more ads, more cash. Meanwhile, Elon's playing this I'm above it all card, but he's not slick. He knows who's buttering his bread, and it ain't us. And don't tell me, just log off. That's some weak-ass cop-out. The internet ain't optional. In 2025, it's where we work, where we build, where we connect. Telling black folks to log off is like telling us to shut up and take it. Nah, we ain't built like that. We've been fighting back since the slave ships, and we ain't stopping now. But we gotta call this out for what it is. Elon Musk is complicit. He's letting X be a megaphone for racism, and he don't give a damn how it burns us. Shout out to the warriors still on X, holding it down, folks, like Tariq Nasheed and others, who ain't scared to call out the BS. But this shouldn't be their burden alone. We need a reckoning. We need X to stop coddling these bigots. And yeah, we need to keep building our own platforms, our own spaces, because waiting on Elon to grow a conscience is like waiting on reparations from Congress. So where we at, fam? We're under attack, no question, but we're resilient. We've survived worse than some pasty trolls and a billionaire with a god complex. Stay sharp, stay loud, and don't let M dim your light. This is the Grassroots, where we plant the seeds for what's next. Drop a comment, tell me how you're dealing with this online mess. Subscribe if you ain't already, and share this with the crew. We're in this together. Peace.
So as we go through the details, just a warning, what's coming ahead is quite graphic. The victim beaten so brutally and badly, a helicopter had to land here to get him to level 1 trauma care ASAP. This is the man police are saying is the suspect, 39-year-old Brett Owers. District Attorney Nate Bible says Owers is dangerous. What if someone should happen to see this man?
Sure. Do not approach him. It seems like the damage that was done to the victim in this case, that this individual could snap.
Peace, family. You're tuned into the Grassroots, where we keep it 100 for the culture, for the people, and for the truth they don't want you to hear. I'm bringing that realness straight to your screen. No filter, no apologies. Today, we're diving deep into a story that's got the streets buzzing and the system shook. A brutal, unprovoked attack on a black man named Preston Coleman by a white dude named Brett Owers. This ain't just a story about one night in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. Family, this is a snapshot of the war being waged on us every single day. So buckle up, grab your notepad, and let's break this down for the family. As always, on January 5th, 2025, Preston Coleman, a 52-year-old black father and grandfather, steps into the VFW on Penn Avenue in Aliquippa, a spot he's been kicking it at for years. This ain't no stranger to the community. This is a man who's loved, respected, the kind of brother who made sure the sisters working the bar got home safe. But that night, family, everything changed. Enter Brett Owers, a 39-year-old white man with a chip on his shoulder and hate in his heart. According to police reports and surveillance video, Owers gets up, no warning, no beef, no nothing, and starts swinging on Preston, punches to the face, over and over. Coleman tries to get away, but this dude ain't letting up. He's kicking him in the head, strangling him, even slamming a bar stool on his dome for 30 minutes. 30 damn minutes. This savage beat Preston like he wasn't even human. Now hold up, family. Let that sink in. 30 minutes. That's not a fight, that's a lynching with fists. And here's the kicker. Police say this attack was unprovoked. Preston didn't know this dude. His daughter, Taquisha Tucker, said it plain. My father never knew this person. Never had an encounter with him. So what's the motive? We'll get to that. Keep listening. Preston's fighting for his life right now, y'all. Medically induced coma, brain bleeds, broken bones, the works. His brother was left for dead, and the system wants us to believe this is just some random bar brawl. Nah, fam, we ain't that naive. But it gets worse. While Owers is going berserk, another dude, Ronald Brown, walks into the VFW, sees Preston laid out, defenseless, and what does he do? Joins in, starts punching him in the head, neck, and face like it's open season. And the bartender, Brown's daughter, Julia Smith, she didn't call 911. She hands her pops a wash rag, so him and Owers can wipe the blood off and bounce. No one in that bar called the cops until Owers was long gone. Think about that, family. They let this man get brutalized for half an hour and didn't lift a finger. Now let's talk about Brett Owers. This cat's the main suspect, charged with attempted homicide and aggravated assault. He's on the run for weeks after the attack, hiding out until February 6th, when the U.S. Marshals and Aliquippa PD finally nabbed him after a standoff in West Aliquippa. Ronald Brown, he turned himself in earlier, posted a $100,000 bond, and he's out. Meanwhile, Preston's family is holding spaghetti dinners to raise money because he's still in the hospital, fighting to come back to his kids and grandkids. That's the reality we're dealing with here. Fast forward to February 25th, 2025, Preston's lawyer, Todd Hollis, files a civil lawsuit against the Veterans Home Association of Aliquippa, the folks who own the VFW. Why? Because they didn't do a damn thing to protect Preston or stop this attack. The lawsuit says they were negligent, that the bartender's failure to call 911 and helping Owers get away makes them liable. 3 people, Owers, Brown, and the bartender, already facing criminal charges. And now the VFW's in the hot seat. But let's be real, family. Justice ain't guaranteed. Preston's still in critical condition. and these cats might just walk away with a slap on the wrist. Now, here's where it gets real provocative, because I know what some of y'all are thinking. Was this a hate crime? Preston's family says hell yes. Their attorney, Steve Bart, laid it out. It's a hate crime because you don't do this to a human being. Humans are not to be treated this way. The Beaver County DA says they're still investigating that angle. But we ain't holding our breath. See, when a white man beats a black man within an inch of his life for no reason, the system loves to play dumb. But we know the history. We know the pattern. This ain't just about Preston Coleman. This is about every black body that's been targeted, brutalized, and left to rot while the perpetrators get a pass. And that family brings us to the bigger picture. Reparations? Yeah, I said it. See, what happened to Preston ain't an isolated incident. It's a symptom of years of unpaid debts. Black Americans been catching hell since we were dragged here in chains. Slavery, Jim Crow, lynchings, mass incarceration, and now this. Fred Howard didn't just wake up one day and decide to beat a black man half to death. He's a product of a system that's been greenlighting this mess forever. Reparations ain't just about a check, it's about accountability, about repairing the damage done to us as a people. Preston's story is proof we're still paying the price, while they keep cashing in on our pain. California's talking billions for black folks out there. Why ain't we demanding the same everywhere else? Now, I know the haters gonna say, oh, you're making it about race. Damn right I am, because they made it about race when they picked Preston out that night. This ain't about division, this is about survival. The grassroots ain't here to sugarcoat it for you. We're here to wake you up. Preston Coleman's family deserves justice, but so do we all. So what's the move, family? Hit that like button if you're rocking with the truth. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think about Preston's story, about reparations, about this whole damn system. Subscribe if you ain't already, because the grassroots is where the real talk lives. Share this with your people, because they need to know too. Until next time, stay sharp, stay woke, and keep fighting for the family. Peace. Peace, family. Welcome back to the grassroots, where we dig deep, keep it real, and shine a light on the stories they don't want you to hear. On March 1st, 2025, the music world was shaken by the tragic death of R&B singer Angie Stone, who passed away at the age of 63 in a car crash in Montgomery, Alabama. The accident occurred early Saturday morning as Stone was traveling back to Atlanta from a performance in Mobile, Alabama, when the Sprinter van she was in flipped over and was struck by a semi-truck. She was the only fatality among the passengers. Just weeks prior, Stone had taken to Instagram Live to voice serious allegations against Universal Music Group, her former record label. In a video reportedly posted on December 26, 2024, she accused UMG of mishandling and withholding millions in royalties owed to her over the course of her decades-long career. Stone, known for hits like Wish I Didn't Miss You and No More Rain, claimed that she had only recently discovered the extent of the financial discrepancies after investigating her royalty statements. She expressed frustration, stating that the funds could have allowed her to retire comfortably years earlier. The timing of her accusations, followed so closely by her sudden death, has sparked speculation and sorrow among fans and observers, with some questioning the circumstances surrounding the crash. While no official investigation has linked her allegations to her passing, the resurfacing of her live stream has amplified discussions about transparency and fairness in the music industry, a cause Stone appeared to champion in her final days. Her legacy as a pioneering artist and advocate remains a focal point as the industry mourns her loss.
That was supposed to be with Music Soul Child, Marsha Ambrosia. Shout out to Raheem Devon for standing in for me. I had something happen that caused me not to be there, but God just needed to sit me down so I could focus on me. So before I go into just, what I experienced, what I went through, I want to let you guys know I almost didn't make it through this process because it was something that just kind of hit me. It was a day or so before I was scheduled to fly out to Detroit. And I was very excited. All the tickets were bought, the hotels were paid for, the band was ready to go. And then I got hit with this crazy news. And it kind of threw me for a loop. So I figured I better share it with you all, and you can pass it on, because just because we're in the industry doesn't mean we're not human. Things happen all the time. And unfortunately, when this happened, I just wasn't prepared for it. But anyway, it caused me to miss that show that I was super, super excited about. Go ahead and get somebody come back to the live. Like I said, I don't want to have to say it again. I haven't even told my team that I was going on today. I just threw up my light and just put on a little something just so I could get with you guys. All right, we got some people in the room now. I'm gonna wait for about 10 or 15 more people to get on, and then I'll share a couple of things with you that are gonna be shocking. But anyway, nonetheless, I just want to say hi to all the people that are joining my live. Let me just see who you are. Let me see. Lady Hayes, hey there. Freeway, Rick, Elegant. Oh, that went too fast. I'm sorry. Hey, Lynn, Miss Tiff, Quantum Guru. Merry Christmas to all of you. Jay Rossi, Denise Pretty. Oh, you're beautiful as well. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning from Texas. I love you guys. Thank you for, coming on my live. Like I said, y'all are in for a bit of a treat. Maybe for some people, they might be happy that it happened to me, because everybody don't wish good things for you. Some people wish bad things for you. And I continue to pray for them. Somebody's calling my line, but I can't answer her call because I'm on the live right now. But I will say this. It has been one heck of a ride. This last month, the enemy was trying to take me out. He was really trying to take me out. And okay, I'm gonna wait till we get those 50, 60. We had 51. Let me see, can I get 70 to 100 people in the room right now before I reveal some very, very interesting information. And it is like a double-edged sword, because I'm going to tell you one thing, and then I'm going to get to the worst thing that could possibly happen to any artist after 45 to 50 years in the business. The worst thing that could happen. It has, of course, happened to me, and I'm constantly in prayer for God to forgive the people that have wished me ill will, or done anything to remotely get in the way of the gift of sharing with my fans. Okay, we're at 45. Let me get 50. Let me get 60. And I'm gonna give y'all 5 more minutes to get some more people on this live. The devil is a liar. You're right. Come on now. Come on. Oh, by the way, the Christmas song, All I'm Missing, is #1 in several countries. We put it out on the 15th of November, on the 14th of November. The devil tried to stop that. It was snatched down. Then it was put back up. He tried to, of course, blame it on me, but it wasn't my fault. However, the song prevailed. After everybody bailed, the song went all the way to #1 and is steadily climbing the chart. So if you guys have never heard All I'm Missing, you can go on all platforms. Apple Music made it last week. Their front page was my big old face on there. I featured Juanita Wynn and Jay Brown. Did an amazing job on helping me get through a trying time. Juanita Wynn started, she stayed on me about let's do a song. She's one of my best writing partners, and she convinced me to jump on this song, and she started it out, and I got in the loop, and When did my verse, she did her verse. Jay Brown hummed and mummed over it. And lo and behold, it is a standard, and it's a #1 song that I think you guys will be playing every year. Okay, so if you're ready for us to go live and to get this bit of information, no, I didn't make it a secret reveal. I should have, but I will have my team posted as a reveal because it is a secret that I'm revealing. But the latter part of the conversation is really, really crazy. Anyway, are you guys ready? All right, 45. I need 5, 7. Let me see. I need 50 people in the room before I even begin to talk about it. So I'm not going to talk about it until I can get, because I'm going to need each and every one of you guys after I reveal this to share this. I'm going to go ahead and send it over to my YouTube page after this, as well as my TikTok page. Anyway, what happened 2 days before my show? Whew. But God, I'm trying to keep from crying because the devil was very, very, very particular in targeting me. But anyway, I was rushed to the hospital because I wasn't breathing so well. Came to find out I had what was a bacterial blood infection that I had gotten when they stuck me with the needle. It had went into my bloodstream and caused a staph infection of the blood. Now, I didn't have a clue that there was a blood infection until they rushed me into ICU. I went into ICU and I went to use the restroom and I passed out in the restroom. My oxygen went all the way down and rendered me basically unconscious. When I came back to, the nurses began to tell me that I was screaming for Jesus because when I went down, I'm sorry, I didn't know that, I didn't know what was happening. All I know is it was all of a sudden. And I began to praise God and call on his name because I knew biblically that if I was transitioning, I needed to be calling on Jesus. And I need to be calling him by his name. So I began to scream his name. When they brought me to is when they told me I was lucky to be alive because I was on the floor. And sorry. I knew it was an attack. I knew it was a spiritual attack on me. However, I was treated and God healed me, cleared up. After 2 weeks, solid, they cleared up the blood infection. I'm just here to let you know the only reason I hadn't been on my live and just getting with y'all on this because I had to get postured with God one-on-one. Sometimes God will make you stand still when you're doing the most you can for everyone. He will stand you still so that your complete focus can be on him. God he knew that I was about to come into some things. And as I began to come back to myself completely, I remembered everything that I was working on. I remember the people that were in my immediate circle that were supposed to be there to help me. By the time it was all said and done, the Christmas song had been snatched down. For what reason? I wasn't in a position to really fight that. I had to fight to live. So I couldn't worry about that because I knew that it would take care of itself, but not without the devil trying to blame me for the mishap. Lo and behold, I won't call any names, but people quit on me because they thought it was me. Like I said, I can't call any names because I'm not that vicious. I don't want to hurt anybody, and I really don't want it to be their downfall. But I will tell you, people left me in that dark, dark moment when I really needed support. My kids were there for me. My true friends were there for me because they knew this is serious. They thought that blood infection would have damaged my heart, so I went into a lot of testing to make sure there was not heart scarring. Lo and behold, all of that came out fine. I was not scarred by the heart, thank God. But the staph infection was supposed to scar the heart and the lungs, and it cleared up, thank God. So I just wanted to be transparent with you all because I don't always have it all the way together. But I'm a hard worker. You know, I play hardball, but I love twice as hard. And because I do love my fans, and especially shout out to Raheem Devon, who got on the stage in Detroit that night in my place, and he had the entire audience say, "Get well soon." He called me, "Sis, what's going on?" And when he found out, he said, "I got you." So I owe you one, bro. I owe you one. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, as I was coming through all of this, I soon found out that one of the biggest companies that I was with, Universal Music, it's the second part of the ugly truth. We began to research things to check on my royalties and my statements and things that of that nature, only to find out a lot of my publishing, a lot of my royalties, my mechanicals, they have all pretty much been stolen. As I begin to find out things that I never had to look into, because when you hire a team of people that to some degree supposed to have your back, you're thinking that they're getting it all together for you. You know, that's why, you know, I respect Oprah Winfrey in that respect when she said, do your own research. I just stoned the celebrity that I let a lot of important things slip through the cracks only because I didn't know any better. I worked very hard to take care of my kids as a single mother, and I'm being transparent. My kids' fathers just were not doing what they're supposed to do. So I had to step up and go in and do everything that I needed to do for my family, which is why I worked so hard, which is why I traveled so much, which is why I did shows, because at the end of the day, after 40-something years in the business, I'm like, well, why? Where are my royalties going? Because I'm not getting this. Come to find out, Universal Music has been receiving all my royalties, all my mechanicals. They've taken pretty much everything. They've stolen, I won't say stolen, but they have taken all the monies that were due to me. They have basically absorbed in that company. And even though there's several class action lawsuits, people that were working on my behalf, never even registered the songs. All the songs that I've done, I'm only coming to find out they were not properly registered by the companies that I signed over to. People that were supposed to do their due diligence. So I'm truly a walking testimony that God has carried me all this time, because if you only knew how much money they have taken from me, how much they have stolen from me, monies that I'm supposed to be, I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made, supposedly. But there are key people that have been driving the ships. And what they've been doing is improperly representing me, improperly stealing from me, taking things in their own hand, changing and switching lanes because they knew I didn't know that part. See, I'm not an attorney. I don't know everything. What I learned how to do was go out, work hard, get paid, come home, pay my bills, take care of my family. That part. The legal side, when you hire attorneys and managers and agents, now they're supposed to make sure the gray area over there that they are in the driver's seat for, they're supposed to make sure you're taken care of. And even though they were taking care of themselves, they thought very little of taking care of me. And I know because I've seen it with my own eyes. So I'm just here to let you know, one way or the other, Universal Music, you're going to have to give up my coins. And so what I'm doing now is whatever is necessary to make sure they pay me for the legacy of my life, for my children and my grandchildren. They're going to have to give me my money. I mean, when you sit back and think Bruno Mars, Dr. Dre, when you think about all these people that have sampled music, if they're filthy rich on it, what's our problem? Or my problem? Oh, yeah. So you got to get a diesel crew, and I call them a diesel crew, to go in and rectify the issue, because evidently all the time that I've been working through things, they didn't get. I'll tell them on my live, please. Okay. Give it to me. Give me your phone. I'm sorry. So just to be clear, I can't say it over live. Give me your phone. I just want everybody, come on, Journey, I'm on the line. My granddaughter trying to help me, and she's slow as Christmas. Your thing went off. Anyway, go get from Shayna. Yeah. So with that being said, shout out to Van Silk. I know you didn't know this was coming, but I had to be transparent. I would try to take as many questions as I can. Let me see. Universal Music, call me. Keys join. Kathy Smith smiles. Yes, sis, get your diesel crew and go tear that. Okay. Yes, I plan on doing that. The music industry is horrible when they tell you that, it's not a straight line. I've been one to kind of play fair. I stay out of harm's way. I can't avoid trouble always, because I'll tell you this, no matter who we hook up with and how we hook up, they're always going to make it confrontational when it doesn't suit their liking. But I don't care about that. I got to pass all of that. But everybody that works hard for 50 years should be able to retire in peace, should be able to sit back without looking for your money. So I got a team of people, a diesel crew, that's really trying to help me navigate things. And if I never get it, at least you heard it from me, because I don't know what they might do to keep from paying me all the money they owe me. Okay? all the money they owe me. It's ridiculous that someone has played with my life and my career for this long, for their own benefit. I mean, have you no conscience? There's a special place in hell, just like my girl Selena said, for people like that. There's a brick wall waiting out there for hard heads. And I promise you, God said, touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. So even in this hour, I'm going to pray for you, because I know that God said that he will fight my battles if I will just endure to the end. So I'm definitely going to get that. And I don't want nobody to be upset with me. I don't care what they think about me. I just want people to know that when you get in this industry, there are so many twists and turns. And even though you have the Almighty God with you, they still gonna try you. Because just because I believe in God don't mean they believe in God. They don't believe in God. So they think I'm a fool and a bunch of other people because we love her, we give her, we go, but it don't mean we stupid. Okay? Well, on that note, look, guys, I'm gonna take a break. I just wanted to share with you guys. If you got any questions, let me see. Are you open to working with new producer? Absolutely. I got a project I'm working on right now, and I'm just in a good way, because with having a #1 single. Oh Lord, did I do something? Oh, you flipped it right there. Take it back. With having a new single that's climbing up the charts at #1 territorial wise, I really think I'm back. And now they're going to make me go in like a turbo boost. I'm a beast. The next album, you ain't going to be able to handle it, because now that I have my capacity to breathe and do everything, I'm going in the studio with a vengeance. And I can surely tell you, we've already got the title of the album worked out, and I'm going to try to have it done by the end of January, if not before. But it's going to be a beast. I'm going to, I had to remember how dope I was back in the day when we did Black Diamond, we did Mahogany. So I'm going back to that Angie, because that was the one that told it like it was. And so now I see I'm postured in a position where I got to tell it like it is. And that's why I'm telling on Universal. And all the people that y'all work with me, y'all know who you are. You've been spotted. You've been seen. Your worth is useless to me now, because I've seen the data. That's all I'm going to say. And I hope to God you enjoyed spending every dime you took, because you're going to give it back one of these days. All right. On that note, he is wishing everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now, when I get back on here later on today, all I'm doing is allowing you guys to know that the products that I told you we would have for Thanksgiving, we're ready to roll out. So we can actually start sending packages out. I'm going to start bringing some of the merch to my live shows where you can purchase, take a picture with me, that kind of stuff. But now I'm finna go all the way in. All right. So on that note, thank you so much for listening to my testimony and keeping me lifted. I am still here. The devil did not take my life, and God spared me and gave me the extra time I needed to get y'all straight. All right, look for some new horizons for Angie Stone. I'll tell you this one thing. I'm doing some stuff with my brother Montel Jordan that you're gonna love. Can't give the secret away right now, but it's coming. There's a lot of things happening. There's a big movie on the table that, because of that blood infection, now I know that I can pull it off because God is taking that away from me. So I'm just telling you guys that everything happens for a reason. Sometimes we can't be somewhere because that's God's strategy. Shout out to Jamie Foxx for his new live comedy. Oh my God. And what was it? And what it was, how it was, what had happened was, and that's my story. He and I were born a day apart. So just like Jamie Foxx, I'm here to tell you what had happened was. Okay? Shout out to Jamie and his family for just standing in the gap for him. I'm not the only one, and neither is he. Y'all be blessed until the next session. Peace and blessings. Like I said, if I don't answer your questions here, I'll go in the backlog and I'll respond. I'll try to reply in the next hour. This is Miss Tiffs Unlimited LLC. I love you more. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. So on that note, y'all, I'm out the door. I'll talk to you shortly. Okay. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Peace, family. Welcome back to the Grassroots, where we keep it real, raw, and uncut for the people. Today, we're diving into some straight-up madness that went down in Winter Garden, Florida, on February 20th, 2025. This ain't just a news report. This is a wake-up call for Black Americans and anybody paying attention to the war being waged against us. Let's get into it. Here's the deal. Winter Garden police say a 57-year-old white dude named Ralph Hensel straight up ambushed and murdered 32-year-old Jakeem Williams, a Black father of 5, in cold blood. This wasn't no heat of the moment thing. Nah, this was premeditated. Hensel was lying in wait, posted up like a hunter stalking prey. Just because Jakeem was riding his ATV around the apartment complex, surveillance footage shows Hensel walking out the leasing office with a gun, creeping around the building, and then blasting Jakeem as he rode by. After he did it, this coward walked back to the office and said, "I killed him." No remorse, no hesitation, just pure malice. Now, let's break this down. Jakeem Williams wasn't out here robbing nobody, wasn't starting fights. He was a family man, a father of 5, just living his life. His family says he was peaceful, non-confrontational, and all about his kids. But to Ralph Hensel, none of that mattered. Why? Because Jakeem was Black. Hensel had been complaining about riders in the neighborhood for a minute, even told the police if they didn't handle it, he would. And he did. This wasn't about noise or rules. This was about a white man feeling entitled to play judge, jury, and executioner over a Black life. See, this ain't an isolated incident, it's a pattern. Foundational Black Americans, the descendants of the people who built this country for free under the whip, been catching hell for 400 years. From slavery to Jim Crow to redlining to mass incarceration. And now, random white folks deciding they can take our lives whenever they feel inconvenienced. Ralph Hensel didn't see Jakeem as a human being. He saw him as a problem to eliminate. And that's the legacy of white supremacy we're still fighting today. Now, let's talk reparations, because this ties right into why foundational Black Americans deserve what's owed to us. Jakeem's death ain't just a tragedy, it's a symptom of a system that's been robbing us of our lives, our labor, and our peace since day one. This country got rich off our ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears. 246 years of slavery, followed by another century of legalized apartheid. They stole our wealth, broke our families, and left us with trauma that's still killing us today. Jakeem's kids are fatherless now because of that same entitlement that let slave owners profit off our pain and walk away clean. Check the numbers. The wealth gap between Black and white households ain't budged since 1970. Why? Because they never paid us back for the trillions they stole. Reparations ain't just about a check, it's about justice, about making us whole. It's about saying, we owe you for the labor, the land, the lives we took. Jakeem Williams should still be here, raising his kids, but instead, he's another name on a list that's too damn long. Reparations could have given his family stability, resources, a fighting chance, something the system never intended for us to have. Jakeem's baby mama, Brianna Bermudez, said it best. No justice is going to bring him back. And she's right. But justice ain't just locking Hensel up. It's about dismantling the system that emboldened him to pull that trigger. It's about reparations for every Black family torn apart by this madness. Hensel's in jail now, no bond, facing first-degree murder charges. But that don't erase the pain. That don't fix the root cause. So here's the bottom line, fam. Ralph Hensel killing Jakeem Williams is a wake-up call. We can't keep letting this happen and acting surprised. Black Americans deserve reparations, not as a handout, but as a debt owed for centuries of theft and murder. We built this nation, and it's time they pay up. Hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and let's keep this fight alive. Rest in power, Jakeem. We ain't forgetting you. Peace. Peace, family. You're locked in with the Grassroots, where we don't play games, we don't sugarcoat, and we damn sure don't let the system slide. Today, we're tearing into a story that's got the streets hot and the blood boiling. We're talking Hannah Cobb and Telvin Osborne, a black man gunned down in his own home, and a white woman who thought she could walk away scot-free. This ain't just a crime, this is systemic racism on full display. So let's get into it. Family, grab a seat, because this one's gonna hit hard. Here's the rundown, fam. Sunday morning, February 23rd at 5:45 a.m., Burke County Sheriff's deputies roll up to a house on 4 Points Road in Hephzibah, Georgia. They find Telvin Osborne, a 30-year-old black man, father of two, laid out in the master bedroom with a bullet in his chest, dead, gone. And who's standing there? Hannah Cobb, his white girlfriend, the mother of his kids. Spinning the story so weak it couldn't hold water in a bucket with no bottom. She says she came home from the club at 5 a.m. Was checking her gun? Yeah, you heard that right, and it just went off. Shot Telvin right in the chest. Now kinfolk, pause that tape. 5 a.m. after the club, and you're checking a gun. Who's buying that nonsense? At first, it looked like the system was going to do what it always does, and let her slide. For 2 whole days, Hannah Cobb was out here breathing free air, while Telvin's family was planning a funeral. No arrest, no cuffs, just cooperating with the investigation. Sheriff's office was quiet, mainstream media was quieter, and all we had was ex-posts from Telvin's people screaming for justice. One of his cousins, Mark Stevenson, even hit X saying her daddy's a cop, and they were about to sweep this under the rug. Sound familiar? That's the playbook, fam. White woman cries, black man dies, and the system hits the snooze button. But hold up, there's a plot twist. As of today, February 25th at 3:36 p.m., Hannah Cobb is finally in cuffs. Burke County Sheriff Alfonso Williams held a press conference and said they've charged her with felony and voluntary manslaughter. According to WRDW News, the sheriff's dropping the hammer, saying it wasn't no accident. Both of them were drinking. They got into it. There was pushing and shoving, and Hannah pulled that trigger. She's locked up in Burke County Jail right now. But don't get it twisted. This only happened because the streets wouldn't shut up about it. Telvin's brother, Roderick Williams, lit up Facebook, and the outrage went viral with 744 shares. Fam, that's what forced their hand. Now let's talk about Telvin Osborne, a working man, holding it down at the Savannah River nuclear plant, raising 2 kids with this woman. And just like that, he's another black man gone, caught up in a system that doesn't value us. Systemic racism ain't just the cops. It's the courts. It's the headlines. It's the way they let Hannah Cobb chill for 48 hours while Telvin's blood was still warm. The Augusta Press said she tried to feed deputies that checking the gun lie, but Sheriff Williams shut it down. At no point was she cleaning a weapon. So why did it take 2 days to lock her up? If Telvin had pulled that trigger, he'd have been in a cage before the sun came up. That's the double standard, fam. This is why we need reparations, y'all. Foundational black Americans built this damn country, and we're still out here begging for scraps of justice. Telvin's story ain't unique. Just look at the stats. The Guardian said police killed 1,232 people in 2023, and black folks were at the top of that list. But it ain't just the badges. It's the Hannah Cobbs of the world, too reckless, armed, and untouchable, till we make noise. We need black voices in the media, in the streets, in the power seats, because the system ain't gonna fix itself. They only moved on Hannah because we wouldn't let it die. So where are we at now? Hannah Cobb's locked up, charged with involuntary manslaughter. But don't sleep, that's a slap on the wrist compared to what Telvin's family lost. The investigation's still rolling, and the Criminal Investigation Division's digging deeper. But justice ain't done till we say it's done. Hit that subscribe button for the Grassroots. Drop a comment. Did they move fast enough? Or is this still a cover-up? Share this with your people, because Telvin Osborne's name deserves to echo. We're the Grassroots. Fam, we rise up, we fight back, and we don't stop till it's right. Peace. Peace, family. Welcome back to the Grassroots, where we peel back the layers of this system and expose the real deal. No sugarcoating, no cap. Today, we're diving into a story that'll make your blood boil, but it's one you need to hear. We're talking about Robert Johnson, a brother from the south side of Chicago who had his life snatched away at 16 years old. Locked up for damn near 3 decades for a murder he didn't commit. That's right, 29 years, stolen, and now he's finally free. But hold up, kinfolk, this ain't no feel-good redemption story. This is about a system designed to chew up black bodies and spit them out, then act like it's all good. And after you hear this, you're gonna see why foundational black Americans like Robert deserve reparations. Straight up. Let's set the scene. It's 1995. Robert Johnson's just a kid, 16 years old, living on Chicago's south side. You know the vibe, Redland neighborhoods, underfunded schools, cops prowling like they own the block. One night, the Chicago PD rolls up, snatches his brother out his home, and pins a murder on him along with home invasion and armed robbery. No physical evidence. No eyewitnesses pointing the finger at him. Just a flimsy story from a juvenile co-defendant who later said, "Yo, the cops forced me to lie." That's crazy, fam. That's how they built this whole case on shaky lies and a system that don't care about black kids surviving past puberty. Now peep this. Robert's locked up at 16, still a baby in the eyes of the world. He's thrown into a cage, surrounded by concrete and steel, while the real killers walk free. Meanwhile, the state's like, we got our guy. Based on what? A coerced statement that falls apart under a magnifying glass. This ain't justice, fam. This is a lynching with extra steps. And for 29 years, this brother sat behind bars, watching his youth, his dreams, his whole life evaporate. He didn't see his 20s, didn't get to build a family, didn't get to chase a bag or breathe free air. That's 10,585 days stolen from a foundational black American. All because the system saw him as disposable. But here's where it gets real grimy, kinfolk. Robert ain't alone. This ain't an isolated oopsie by the state. This is a pattern, a playbook they've been running on us since we were brought here in chains. See, Robert Johnson's story is the story of black America, the descendants of the enslaved, the ones who built this country brick by bloody brick. They lock us up on trumped up charges, kill us in the streets, then tell us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. What bootstraps, fam? They took them when they framed Robert, when they framed thousands of us. This is systemic warfare, and it's been open season on FBAs forever. Let's break it down with the numbers, because I know some of y'all need receipts. Black folks make up 13% of this country, but 40% of the prison population. In Illinois, where Robert's from, black people are locked up at 10 times the rate of white folks. 10 times. And when you dig into wrongful convictions, black folks like Robert are 7 times more likely to be falsely locked up than anybody else. 7. This ain't coincidence. This is design. It's the ghost of Jim Crow swinging a new rope, and they're aiming it at us, foundational black Americans, every damn day. Fast forward to now, February 2025. Robert Johnson walks out that prison gate after damn near 3 decades. He's 45 years old, fam. He went in a kid and came out middle-aged. The state finally admits, yeah, we messed up, after his co-defendant recanted and the truth couldn't be buried no more. But hold up, where's the apology? Where's the compensation? Where's the justice? They gave him a pat on the back and a good luck, like 29 years ain't worth nothing. Meanwhile, the cops who coerced that testimony, still collecting pensions. The prosecutors who railroaded him, probably sipping coffee in some cushy office. That's the game, fam. They destroy us, then move on like it's Tuesday. Now let's connect the dots, because this is bigger than Robert. It's about all of us. Foundational black Americans ain't just random citizens. We're the backbone of this nation, the ones who turned cotton into wealth, who bled for freedom, who survived slavery, segregation, and every trick they threw at us. Robert Johnson's story is proof of how they repay us with cages, lies, and stolen time. And that's why reparations ain't a debate, it's a debt. A debt they owe us for every lash, every chain, every wrongful conviction, every life they crushed under their boot. Peep the math: 400 years of unpaid labor, followed by 100 years of redlining, mass incarceration, and state-sanctioned terror. Robert Johnson's 29 years is just a drop in that bucket. They owe us for the wealth we built that they pocketed. They owe us for the lives they stole like Robert's. They owe us for the trauma baked into our DNA. Reparations ain't charity, it's restitution. Cash payments, land, resources, give us what's ours. Because we ain't begging, we're demanding. And don't come at me with that, it's too complicated nonsense. They found trillions for wars, bailouts, and tax breaks for billionaires. They can find it for us. Robert Johnson deserves every dime for those 29 years, and so do we all, for the centuries of hell they put us through. This ain't about handouts. It's about repairing what they broke. Foundational Black Americans like Robert are the evidence living proof of their crimes. So when we say cut the check, we mean it. Fam, cash it or catch it. So there it is. Kinfolk, Robert Johnson's story ain't just his, it's ours. A black man railroaded, a life stolen, a debt unpaid. Hit that like button if you're with me. Subscribe if you ain't already, and drop a comment. Should Robert get reparations? Should we all? This is the Grassroots, where we keep it real and keep it moving. Peace out.
Robert Johnson, 43-year-old, has finally been released from prison. He's been in there for almost 30 years. He had his sentence vacated yesterday. I think he's coming up to the microphone, and let's hear what he has to say.
Robert, just tell us what you're feeling right now, man. I didn't think this day was gonna happen. They had me in that cage for 28 years and 10 months of my life for something I didn't have nothing to do with. I'm just thankful that we got in front of a judge that was honorable and that was fair and finally put an end to this nightmare, this hell on earth that I've been dealing with since I was 16 years old.
Robert, your family said you stayed so positive over the last 28 years. What was it like? What went through your head for the last 3 decades?
I had my ups and downs. It was positive, negative. At one point, I was real bitter. I came up out of that because of my family. They supported me, kept my heart. And I'm really lost for words, but I'm gonna get through this here. I came up out of it and I started fighting to prove my innocence, and start writing people. I don't know how many letters I wrote, maybe thousands. No matter how many no's I got one yes. And that's when things started to change for me.
So what's next for you?
What's next for me? I would really like to start making the world more conscious of there are a lot of people in prison for things that they didn't do. It seems to me that the public, it's like they see it on the news, but it's like they don't relate to it for some reason. They don't understand that it is a reality. Like it was just easy just for them to go in there and just say it was me. And I've been in here 28 years of my life. And it wasn't nothing I can do about it. I tried. I screamed. Wouldn't nobody listen to me. And I just want the world to know that there are people, it's still people here in prison, in the Cook County Jail, for things they didn't, for crimes that they didn't commit. And I just wish the public will be outraged about it.
Of course, you miss memories for decades with your family. What does it mean to have the support system and kind of now make up for that lost time?
It means the world to me. My grandmother, she used to always say, well Robert, I hope I'm here when you get out. And I used to always say, Grandma, don't say that. You gonna be here. Man, she was here. She's here. No.
And what did you do to keep going when you were thinking that way for so long and when you were bitter? How did you gain the strength?
At one point, I had lost my faith in God, and then I regained it. My grandma, she's real strong in her faith, and she raised me that way. And I didn't stray too far from it. I grasped back to it, and like I say, my family, they kept me strong, and other supporters kept me strong as well. years.
When did you start to realize this might be possible? When they took up your case with the exoneration process, when did you start to really realize you could get out of there?
Well, what? Because I was really starting to lose hope. When I started to really gain hope, is when I was introduced to a journalist from New York. Her name is Elise. I talked to her on the phone, and she told me, well, I'm not making no promises. I'll see what I can do. It was just something in her voice that gave me hope. And she talked to Allison. I don't know what she talked to her. And when Allison responded back, it was real positive, and the ball started rolling. And that's when I really started to like say, this could possibly happen for me.
And you got your education in there?
Yeah, I got my GED, which was hard because in Menard, when you have a lot of time, they put you at the end of the list. So it took me 7 years to get in school. And I had to literally keep on writing and keep on bothering them about it. They finally gave me the opportunity. I also have, I think 46 credits towards my associate's degree. I wasn't able to complete it because of COVID. They stopped allowing us to go to school, and they haven't brought it back since.
What do you do tonight for tonight? I know this is a homecoming of all homecoming.
Your aunt said Cheesecake Factory. What do you think? What do you want to eat first?
That's really just a home cooked meal. The food in prison, I'm sure y'all know, is horrible. I miss my grandma's cooking. I do.
Is there a certain meal or protein that you'll get tonight or in the next coming days that your grandma makes?
I used to like when she used to cook this. I don't know, it was like corn cakes. I used to like when she do that and put butter on it.
Is your grandma here behind you?
Yeah, that's my grandma right there, Mary Robinson.
Got that right.
She never left me. Always was there for me.
They'll always be there.
She took me in her house when I was 10 years old, and
Peace, family. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join the movement, because we're about to dive deep into some real talk today. The grassroots is here with the unfiltered truth, because the mainstream media ain't gonna tell you what's really going down. Today, we're talking about a case that hits hard, especially for the Black community. A 26-year-old nurse named Erin Elizabeth Ann Stratman out in Richmond, Virginia, has been charged with malicious wounding and felony child abuse after allegedly abusing newborn babies, Black babies, in a hospital, Nick. You heard that right. Newborns, y'all. Defenseless infants. Let's break this down, because this ain't just a crime, it's a symptom of a bigger sickness. All right, fam, let's get into it. Erin Elizabeth Ann Stratman, 26 years old, was a nurse at Enrico Doctors Hospital in Richmond, Virginia. She worked in the neonatal intensive care unit, NICU for short, where the most vulnerable babies, premature infants, are supposed to be cared for. But instead of healing, this woman was allegedly out here breaking bones. According to reports from ABC News and Scripps News, Richmond, Stratman was caught on surveillance video in November 2024, mishandling a 5-month-old premature Black baby, fracturing his thigh bone. The complaint says she grabbed both of his legs, pushed them back until his feet were at his head, while the baby was crying out in distress. That's not just abuse, that's torture, y'all. And this wasn't a one-off. Authorities are investigating at least 7 babies who suffered unexplained fractures and bruises under her watch, going back to 2023. Now, let me paint the picture for you. These are premature babies, tiny, fragile, fighting to survive. Parents entrust these medical professionals with their children's lives. And this nurse, this so-called caregiver, turns around and does this. And here's where it gets real for us. Multiple reports, including from parents like Dominique Hackey, confirm that many of these babies were Black, Dominique's son, Noah, born premature in 2023, came out of that NICU with a fractured leg. They didn't know what happened back then, but now the dots are connecting. This ain't random, fam. This is targeted. And I ain't afraid to call it what it is. This smells like white supremacy in action. Let's look at the facts. According to Court TV, Stratman was arrested on January 2nd, 2025, and charged with felony counts of malicious wounding, which carries up to 20 years in prison, and child abuse, which could get her another 10. That's 30 years total if the judge throws the book at her. She's being held without bond at Enrico Jail West, and the judge denied her release on January 13th, citing the seriousness of these charges and the need for a psychological evaluation. Good, because anybody doing this ain't right in the head. But here's the kicker. The hospital knew something was up. Daily Mail reported that after 3 babies were found with fractures in late November and December 2024, they installed what they call angel cameras in the NICU. That's how they caught her in the act. But what about the 4 babies hurt in 2023? Why wasn't this stopped sooner? Now, let's talk about accountability, or the lack of it. Enrico Doctors Hospital put out a statement saying they're cooperating fully with the investigation and that Stratman no longer works there. But they paused NICU admissions right before Christmas 2024, and the Virginia Department of Health slapped them with a conditional license renewal. Too little, too late, fam. 7 babies had to suffer before they acted. And check this, the Daily Mail uncovered text messages where Stratman bragged to friends about taking Xanax and cocaine during her suspension, saying she felt like a psycho. This ain't just negligence, this is a predator who got comfortable doing dirt because nobody was checking her. And where's the outrage? If this was a black nurse caught breaking white babies' legs, Fox News, CNN, all of them would be wall to wall with this story. Politicians would be screaming about thugs and criminals. But when it's one of theirs targeting our kids, crickets. The silence is deafening, fam. And that's why we gotta speak up. This case ain't just about Erin Stratman. It's about a system that lets people like her operate unchecked until they get caught red-handed. Think about it. She was 26, not some old relic from the Jim Crow era. This is 2025, and we still got folks out here acting like it's 1925. Look at her, Erin Elizabeth Ann Stratman. This ain't no stereotype. This is the face of the enemy hiding in plain sight. She had Pinterest boards dreaming of her perfect wedding, her perfect life, according to the Daily Mail. Meanwhile, she's out here shattering black babies' bones. That's the duality we're dealing with, smiling in public, sinister in private. And the parents, they're left picking up the pieces. Dominique Hackey told reporters he's still trying to heal with the other families, saying it's easier to heal together than to go through this alone. That's real. That's community. But they shouldn't have to be doing this in the first place. So what do we do, fam? First, we demand justice. Stratman's preliminary hearing is set for May 2025, per ABC 7 Chicago. We need to be on this. Make sure she don't slip through the cracks with some plea deal or a slap on the wrist. Second, we hold Enrico Doctors Hospital accountable. 7 babies over 2 years. That's a pattern, not a coincidence. Somebody knew something and didn't act. And third, we protect our own. This is why we gotta be vigilant, whether it's in hospitals, schools, or anywhere else our kids are vulnerable. The system ain't built to save us. It's built to sustain folks like Stratman until they mess up too bad to ignore. I want to give a shout out to the parents fighting through this. Dominique, Tori Hackey, all of y'all. Your strength is what keeps us going. And to my people watching, don't let this story slide. Share it, talk about it, because if we don't, who will? This is bigger than one nurse. It's about the value of black life in a world that keeps showing us it don't care. We care though, and we gone. Keep caring, keep fighting, keep building. That's it for today, fam. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think about this case. Hit that like button if you're with me, and subscribe if you ain't already. We'll keep you posted as this unfolds. Until next time, stay woke, stay strong, and protect the babies. Peace out. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. Welcome to The Grassroots. On this channel, we shed light on issues that impact our community, especially when it comes to preserving our heritage and rights. Today, we're diving deep into a story that's not just about land, but about legacy, history, and justice. We're talking about the Smith family farm in Georgia, a place steeped in history and now at the center of a battle against eminent domain abuse. The Smith family farm, nestled in Hancock County, Georgia, isn't just land. It's a testament to resilience and survival. Owned by Blaine and Diane Smith, this 600-acre property has been in their family since the 1920s, passed down from generation to generation. But now, this legacy is under threat from the Sandersville Railroad Company, which has been granted the right to seize parts of it through eminent domain. Imagine your ancestors, once enslaved, working this very soil. For the Smiths, that's not just history, it's family lore. The land was acquired by Blaine's grandfather, a sharecropper who turned his toil into ownership. Over decades, this farm has been more than just a source of livelihood. It's been a symbol of freedom and self-determination in a community that has faced numerous barriers to Black land ownership. According to recent news from Atlanta Black Star and Capital B, this land represents a piece of Black history that's now at risk. Now, let's talk about eminent domain, the legal principle where the government, or in this case, a railroad company, can take private property for public use with compensation. But here's the catch. The Smiths argue this isn't for public use, but rather to benefit private companies. A ruling by Fulton County Superior Court Judge Craig Schwall Sr., as reported by the Chicago Defender, allowed Sandersville Railroad to use eminent domain for a 4.5-mile Hanson spur to connect raw material producers to broader markets. However, the Smiths and their supporters argued this is a clear abuse of power. The Institute for Justice, representing the Smiths, has been vocal about this not serving the public but a select few private companies. This isn't just Blaine and Diane's fight. It's a rallying cry for many in the Black community in Georgia and beyond. Local activists and national figures like Ben Crump have highlighted how this case reflects broader issues of land theft and economic disenfranchisement. Posts and articles on social media echo a community's frustration and determination to fight back against what many see as a modern form of land grab. The legal battle is far from over. The Smiths, with support from the Institute for Justice, are appealing to the Georgia Supreme Court. They argue that the use of eminent domain here doesn't meet the constitutional requirement of public use, a point that has stirred significant debate. If this goes to the Supreme Court, it could set a precedent, potentially affecting how eminent domain is applied across the country. What can you do? First, educate yourself about eminent domain and its implications for Black landowners. Support organizations like the Institute for Justice or local activist groups. Attend or support community meetings, sign petitions, or share this story. Every action helps in highlighting these injustices and pushing for systemic change. The fight for the Smith farm is more than a legal battle. It's about safeguarding our community's history, our rights, and our future. Thank you for watching. And remember, every piece of land tells a story. Every story deserves to be told, and every fight for justice needs voices. Subscribe, comment, and let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, take care and keep fighting for what's right. And don't forget reparations now. Cut the check. Welcome back to our channel, where we delve into the heart of civil rights cases that shake the core of our justice system. Today, we're focusing on a case that has sparked both outrage and calls for accountability in Houston, Texas. I'm here to walk you through the details of an incident involving Terrence Holland, a 47-year-old man and 6 Houston Police Department officers. Terrence Holland, a man with multiple disabilities, including PTSD, hearing impairments, and traumatic brain injury, found himself in a nightmare scenario on the night of December 19, 2019. According to the lawsuit filed, Holland was merely returning home from a convenience store, having done a simple errand with his legally blind nephew, when his journey took a violent turn. It began as an ordinary traffic stop just 1 block from his home. Officer Antonio Jose Otero pulled Holland over, allegedly for a license or registration issue, but what followed was anything but ordinary. Holland, concerned for his safety and that of his nephew, called his then-girlfriend, Lisa Reyes, to film the interaction. The lawsuit claims that Officer Otero, after a verbal exchange where Holland requested to speak to a supervisor, escalated the situation. Backup officers Aaron Parr and Lucia Gracia arrived, and according to the complaint, an unarmed Holland was standing calmly with his hands in the air. Despite this, the lawsuit alleges that Gracia and Parr began to kick, punch, and drag Holland to the ground without any warning. The brutality didn't stop there. Officer Parr used his taser on Holland in drive-stun mode, pressing it directly against his body, which is a violation of HPD policy, especially since Holland was not resisting. This was followed by multiple officers, including Otero, allegedly hitting, kicking, and punching Holland, dragging him across a neighbor's lawn, and tasing him again for nearly a minute. Holland's injuries included a split lip, severe bruising, a wounded rib cage, and ruptured stitches in his left ear, necessitating hospital treatment before he was incarcerated. His legal team, led by civil rights attorney Shirley Lavarco, argues that this case is not just about one man, but reflects a broader issue of police violence against Black and disabled individuals in Houston. The lawsuit filed in the Southern District of Texas targets not only the officers involved, but also accuses them of falsifying police reports to cover up the incident. All 6 officers named in the lawsuit are Antonio Jose Otero, Aaron Parr, Lucia Gracia, R. Hernandez, Julian Montemayor, and John Fisher, are under scrutiny for their actions in the aftermath of this violent encounter. The repercussions of this case go beyond the courtroom. It has ignited discussions on police accountability, the treatment of disabled individuals by law enforcement, and racial profiling. Data from 2022 shows Black drivers in Houston are disproportionately pulled over, highlighting systemic issues within the police department. Community leaders and activists have called for a thorough investigation into the Houston Police Department's practices, with some advocating for reforms in training and policy to prevent such incidents in the future. The Houston Police Department has launched an internal investigation, but critics argue for more transparency and an independent review. As this case moves through the legal system, it will be a test of how seriously the courts take claims of excessive force and how committed they are to upholding civil rights. Previous settlements and lawsuits against HPD for similar allegations have resulted in significant payouts, suggesting a pattern that might need addressing. Terrence Holland's story is one among many, but it stands as a poignant reminder of the ongoing battle for justice and reform in law enforcement. We'll keep you updated on this case as it develops. If this story resonates with you, share it to spread awareness, and consider supporting organizations that advocate for civil rights and police reform. Subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis on cases like these. And remember, every voice counts in the pursuit of justice. Thanks for watching, and let's keep pushing for a world where everyone can go home safely from a simple trip to the store. See you in the next video.
The employee says she was working here at Arby's for almost 3 years. She says she was only trying to do her job and protect herself, but the man who allegedly assaulted her crossed the line, and now she is unemployed.
On a chilly January evening in 2025, Kendra Irvin, a long-standing employee at Arby's on North Germantown Parkway in Memphis, Tennessee, found herself in an unimaginable situation. Around 9:30 p.m., an altercation erupted when an irate customer, dissatisfied with his roast beef sandwich, unleashed his frustration in the most violent and hateful manner. The customer, whose identity was not disclosed in the reports, began by loudly complaining about his order. But the situation quickly escalated beyond mere dissatisfaction. The man, engulfed by rage, leaped over the counter, physically attacking Irvin. This wasn't just an assault, it was an act of racial hatred. The customer hurled racial slurs at Irvin, intensifying the horror of the moment. In self-defense, Irvin, who had been employed at the location for nearly 3 years, grabbed whatever she could to protect herself, which was a butcher knife and a fry basket. This moment of self-preservation was captured and later shared by Irvin on social media. In the footage, you can see the desperation and fear in Irvin's actions as she fended off her attacker, who was not only physically aggressive, but also verbally abusive with his use of racial slurs. Despite her actions being in self-defense against an unprovoked attack, Irvin faced an unforeseen consequence. Arby's management made the decision to terminate her employment. This decision was made without what Irvin considered due process or acknowledgement of the circumstances that led to her self-defensive actions. The reason provided by Arby's was that Irvin had violated company policy, though the specifics of which policy were not detailed in any of the reports. The story resonated with many, not only due to the racial elements, but also because of the perceived injustice of punishing an employee for defending herself. Social media platforms buzzed with discussions, demanding Arby's to reconsider their decision and address the safety of their employees in such confrontations. While the legal proceedings following the incident were not extensively covered, the ethical implications were clear. The case brought to light questions about employee rights, the adequacy of corporate policies regarding workplace violence, and the handling of racial discrimination.
The cell phone video starts with a customer using racial slurs towards Kendra Irvin. She was an employee at Arby's.
This is the first incident that ever. I never had a problem with a customer, never.
But on January 20th, a man walked into Arby's around 9:30 p.m. Irving told Fox 13 the man ordered a roast beef sandwich.
I told him we have two kinds. Which one? It don't matter. I was like, okay.
Just moments later, Irving says the customer was dissatisfied with his meal and stated that there was a mistake with his order.
Kind of trying to explain to him, like, sir, we can make the sandwich you want. He started shooting back off, and then he threw something at me. Yes, I did. Return something, threw something back at him.
That is when police say the man jumped the counter and called Irving racial slurs.
Went up there and pushed me down, not by my chest, by my face, pushed me down by my face. I fell to the ground, got up. As y'all can see, I have the knife and the fry basket in my hand because I was defending myself.
Irvin says the customer started throwing items at the employees, then left the scene. Fox 13 has a customer's name as it's listed in the police affidavit, but we will not release it until police officially identify him. Irving says she was fired from Arby's just a week later.
Said I violated a policy. I guess I wasn't supposed to protect myself. I guess I wasn't supposed to throw nothing in return or anything. But what would you do if someone did that to you?
The absence of a clear public response from Arby's, as noted in the reports, only added to the controversy and public dissatisfaction. Kendra Irvin, once a quiet, hardworking employee, found herself at the center of a storm. She spoke to news outlets expressing her shock and disappointment, not just for her job loss, but for the lack of support from her employer in the face of such blatant racial aggression. The story of Kendra Irvin at Arby's in Memphis serves as a stark reminder of the challenges faced by Black service workers, particularly when racial bias is involved in the workplace. It questions the balance between corporate policy enforcement and the human element of self-defense. Arby's has not issued a public statement addressing the incident, leaving many to speculate on the future implications for workplace policy and employee rights. Here is the full video of the incident that unfolded that day. I must warn you, strong language is used, so viewer discretion is advised. And don't forget to let us know what you think of this situation in the comments below.
Get out. Get out. Number one and number two. I don't know who. You come with a fucking knife. You come with a fucking knife. You're going to prison. You're going to prison. You on the ground. You push me. Come on. You hit me first, bitch. You right in my fucking face. Hit me right in my face. You fucking.
Police.
Here's your goddamn red bull back, bitch.
And Arby's Cordova. What the f?
What's your fucking back, you cunt? Fuck you, black bitch.
Yeah, Arby's Cordova, 1860 North Germantown.
Black bitch.
A customer is arguing with the employee and he jumped over the counter.
But I'm intelligent, you know.
And he throwing stuff. What's up? He got on the blue shirt with blue jeans. She
Make sure when you get that camera, she do that me first.
Okay.
Pull a knife on me.
Alrighty. She got on work clothes.
I'll sit right here and wait.
Okay. He said he'll sit here and wait. But he got on the blue shirt and blue jeans and she got on all black. She's black. Huh? No, the customer was white. No, they don't have any weapons right now.
She had a weapon. She had a knife.
I said right now.
She had a knife. She was a big bull kid, and she came in with.
There's always controversy around Black History Month. There's always controversy, and then you have black people, quote unquote, who try to get in on the mix, who try to be contrarians, who try to be contrary to get brownie points from the dominant society. And I put up a tweet earlier from big old juicy Sambo, Jason Whitlock. All right. Who does he work for now? Does he work for Fox Sports, ESPN? I don't really follow sports like that. But he's a sportscaster. I don't know where he is now. He's anywhere that's near a hometown buffet. I don't know what place employs his big job ass. But he was online campaigning for his butter biscuits, being performative. And he put up a tweet talking about Black history. You know, this is just pandering. So this is very performative. He's performing for white mommy, white daddy. And I put up a tweet. My tweet was Jason Whitlock is basically upset because there's no holiday meals associated with Black History Month. His big fat jolly ass can't get a meal out of it. He's used to Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas dinners, Easter dinners. Ain't no dinners connected with no damn Black History Month. There's no Jim Crow cream corn that can eat. Ain't no civil rights roast beef, no reparations red beans and rice, Frederick Douglass donuts. Ain't no Tuskegee turkey legs that his big jolly ass can gobble up on. So yeah, he would have a problem with it.
Jason Whitlock, a prominent sports and political commentator, has been vocal about his opinions on various cultural and political issues, including his recent controversial statements regarding Black History Month. In discussions and posts, Whitlock has suggested that former President Donald Trump should have canceled Black History Month, labeling the observance as divisive and stupid. This video delves into the context, arguments, and reactions surrounding Whitlock's statements. Jason Whitlock is known for his work in sports journalism, having contributed to outlets like Fox Sports, ESPN, and more recently, Outkick, which he helped launch. Whitlock has often courted controversy with his unorthodox views on race, politics, and sports culture. His political commentary leans conservative, and he frequently uses his platform to critique what he perceives as liberal narratives, including those around racial issues. Whitlock's critique of Black History Month was notably expressed through his social media presence and interviews. On February 1st, 2025, Whitlock posted on X, formerly Twitter, questioning the tangible benefits of Black History Month since its inception in 1970, and suggesting that Trump should have canceled it. He says Black History Month has been observed since 1970. What are the tangible benefits over the last 55 years? What has it produced? Better reading proficiency? Uptick in SAT scores? Improved GPAs? What? Trump should have canceled it. It's divisive and stupid. He further connected Black History Month to Pride Month, suggesting both are examples of idolatry, and advocated for the cancellation of both by Trump saying idolatry begets idolatry. Black History Month's greatest accomplishment is Pride Month. Trump should cancel both. The arguments made by Whitlock are 1. Lack of tangible benefits. Whitlock questions the effectiveness of Black History Month in terms of educational outcomes, implying that it hasn't led to measurable improvements in academic performance among African Americans. 2. Divisiveness. He argues that focusing on Black history specifically each February might inadvertently promote division rather than unity, suggesting that it segregates history by race rather than integrating it into a broader national narrative. 3. Symbolism over substance. Whitlock criticizes the month for being more symbolic than substantive, suggesting that it does not address real issues facing the Black community. Some conservative voices on social media and in commentary agree with Whitlock, arguing for a more integrated approach to history where racial achievements are part of the everyday curriculum, not confined to one month. But many have vehemently opposed Whitlock's views, accusing him of undermining the importance of recognizing Black contributions, which have often been overlooked or marginalized in traditional historical narratives.
Black History Month is a myth, and it's something that is being used to divide us. It's very divisive. That I have clearly not always believed that as a young person and even as an adult. I thought Black History Month was necessary, and then I probably moved to harmless, to now I have moved to, no, it's divisive. It's anti-unity. It's It's promotion of an idol, skin color being that idol, and that American history covers Black history when told properly. And the left and progressive have used Black History Month to convince Black people that our history and our narrative and our role in American society is to be a victim.
Black History Month serves as an educational tool, bringing attention to Black achievements, struggles, and contributions throughout history, which might otherwise be underrepresented. Cultural pride and awareness. The month fosters a sense of pride and identity among Black Americans and educates others about Black culture, thereby promoting unity and understanding rather than division. Critics highlight that Whitlock's comments ignore the historical context of why such observances were created, including as a response to systemic racism and exclusion from mainstream historical accounts. Various media outlets, including those with differing political leanings, have covered Whitlock's statements. Some outlets, like Thegrio, have labeled Whitlock's stance as anti-Black, while others, like Real Clear Politics, have discussed his views in the context of broader political discourse. Whitlock's comments are part of a larger conversation about how history, particularly racial history, should be commemorated and taught. His criticism of Black History Month aligns with some conservative viewpoints that advocate for an all history is American history approach, but does so in a manner that has sparked significant debate over the role of specialized cultural observances. His remarks align with certain political narratives that question identity politics, suggesting a preference for a universalist approach to history and culture. The statements reflect a broader cultural tension between celebrating diversity and the pushback against what some perceive as segregated observances of history. Whitlock's questioning of the benefits of Black History Month raises questions about how educational systems address racial history and whether current methods are effective. Jason Whitlock's assertion that Donald Trump should have canceled Black History Month, branding it as divisive and stupid, has ignited a significant discourse on the purpose and impact of such cultural observances. While his views resonate with some who advocate for a different approach to teaching history, they are met with substantial opposition from those who value the month's role in education, cultural recognition, and historical correction. This debate underscores ongoing conversations about race, education, and national identity in the United States. Whether or not one agrees with Whitlock, his comments have undeniably contributed to a larger discussion on how America should remember and teach its multifaceted history.
Lance and Whitefeather kept motion-activated Arlo cameras on the children, one in the shed on the 14-year-old boy and 16-year-old girl, and one in a room upstairs with no bed, only a tarp floor that stayed on the 9-year-old girl and 11-year-old boy. The video showed a daily routine of waking up early and being forced to stand with hands on head, unable to change or shower, receiving only peanut butter sandwiches to eat before going back to bed on the floor. In the shed, the teens used a camper toilet, holding a sheet up for each other to shield the other from the camera. Lieutenant Pyle said she first began hearing about this in August before the shed discovery, but testified could never quite get a hold of a CPS worker to follow up.
In the quiet town of Sissonville, West Virginia, a disturbing case unfolded in 2023, revealing the severe mistreatment of 5 adopted Black children by a white couple, Donald Ray Lance and Jean K. White. This story delves into the harrowing details of their ordeal, examining the implications of such acts in the broader context of racial injustice and the ongoing debate over reparations for Black Americans. The case unveiled that Donald Ray Lance, 63, and Jean K. Whitefeather, 62, were arrested following concerns raised by neighbors about the welfare of children at their property. On a fateful day in October 2023, deputies discovered 2 teenagers locked in a shed with no means of exit, alongside a 9-year-old girl crying alone in a loft within the main house. The children, all siblings adopted by Lance and Whitefeather, were subjected to conditions reminiscent of slavery. As for the living conditions, the children were found in a shed described as a teenage hangout by the defense, but in reality, it was equipped with only basic amenities like a camping toilet and no running water. The structure was more akin to a barn or shed than a livable space for children. In addition, there was forced labor, according to court documents. The children were allegedly forced to perform labor, including heavy lifting and farm work, under the threat of punishment. They were made to stand for long periods, sometimes with their hands over their heads, and were subjected to punitive measures like pepper spraying. According to officials, the children also suffered emotional and physical abuse. Reports indicate the use of derogatory racial slurs, physical beatings with objects like PVC pipes, and psychological manipulation. Text messages from White Feather's phone showed plans to manage the children's behavior through harsh methods. The couple faced a trial in January 2025, charged with human trafficking, child abuse, forced labor, and civil rights violations. The defense claimed that the couple was overwhelmed by the children's trauma and mental health issues, suggesting their actions were misguided attempts at control rather than overt racism. However, the prosecution argued that the treatment was racially motivated, pointing to the stark racial contrast between the adoptive parents and children.
The jury saw days of video the Arlo camera saved, including the moments deputies busted in the door on the shed on October 2nd. The children were turned over to Child Protective Services, and when Lance and White Feather got back with two of the children that night, they were later arrested. But that was just the beginning of their charges and the investigation. On Friday, the jury got an inside look at White Feather's cell phone. This included text messages between she and Lance where they referred to the kids as monkeys and pigs. Often Lance would describe physical punishment where he said he, quote, knocked one of them. We saw one text where Lance said, quote, somebody didn't say thank you, and his sandwiches disappeared. We also saw more video from White Feather's phone from their time in Washington that also showed yelling and physical abuse from Lance.
Public discourse on social media and news platforms highlighted the case as a modern manifestation of slavery, with posts describing the situation as deplorable and using the term slaves to describe the children's roles. The narrative resonated with advocates for reparations, who saw this case as a stark example of systemic racism persisting into modern times. The mistreatment of these children by Lance and White Feather serves as a chilling reminder of the historical abuses faced by Black Americans. Advocates for reparations argue the exploitation of Black children in this case mirrors the long history of forced labor and dehumanization that Black Americans have endured, from slavery to Jim Crow laws and beyond. This case underscores the need for systemic change, where reparations could address not only historical injustices, but also contemporary ones, ensuring that such abuses are not just condemned, but also compensated for in a manner that acknowledges the deep-seated racial trauma.
A finance expert from the West Virginia Fusion Center, Alyssa Ledbetter, also took the stand on Friday. She broke down the adoption payments White Feather and Lance received from Minnesota. She said in total of what they analyzed from 2019 to 2023, the two received about $318,000 in adoption support payments, but she testified this didn't tell the whole story. All of this leading up to the most harrowing testimony so far on Friday afternoon from someone who lived it. We are not allowed to film or record the victims who will testify in this case, but we're in the room as the teen girl, now 18, but 16 at the time, shared what her life was like both in Washington State and in Sissonville. She said life progressively got worse with White Feather and Lance once they moved to the ranch in Washington in 2019. This is when the outdoor labor began, she said, and the physical punishments that included hits from a PVC pipe. While under a child services investigation,